I think my 90 should be that the Patriots are going to find a way to disappoint me, find a new way to disappoint me. Welcome back to the Old Bull and Young Calf Boston Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Matt, and I'm here with my dad, Steve. And I was right. The Patriots did find a new way to disappoint me last week. So we're moving on to better things. NBA season is starting. The Bruins looking sharp, young, and we're excited about that. My dad's going to let you know the 5 things we're going to hit on today. Dad, what do we got?
All right, just like Mac Jones, we're going to bench the Patriots for the rest of the segment. We're going to focus on the Celtics and the Bruins. And first off, we're going to give the Celtics win total or expectations for them for the season. Our biggest concern for them, not counting injuries, of course, the obvious. We're also going to do an NBA ranking. We're going to put them in teams. Who are the real threats to them? Who are the teams you don't have to worry about, the bums? And then we're going to focus on the Bruins. All right, I have a new hot take that's actually positive about them after doing some research and putting some thought into it. And then we're going to, of course, hit our betting segment. All right, see how our expert did last week and who he wants this week. And then, of course, we're going to finish the segment with our 90-50-10. It's going to be for the Celtics season this time. So start us off, Matt.
All right, so we're going to jump right into the Celtics win total expectations and our biggest non-injury related concern, because that's everybody's big concern, no matter where you are, no matter what team you're on. So my win total last year, the Celtics had 57 wins. That put them in second place for Eastern Conference. I think that they're so good they would sleepwalk to 57 wins this year. I think the win record for me is 60. They lost some depth. I know Robert Williams really only played like 30 games last year, so he's not too big of a missing piece. We're really trading regular season Porzingis and Drew for Smart and Grant Williams. So it might be overblown. My win total is 60 wins this year. I think that's more than enough, and I don't think they're going to make too big of a push to try and finish in the 1 seed. I don't want them to risk anything for that. Just like one of our teams did last year, and look how that ended up, Bruins. Expectations. I expect we're going to take a leap offensively. I think we're going to be the best offensive team in the league. The only thing that I think that'll hold us back is Missoula being Missoula and just being a very crappy coach. My biggest and also I think our defense is going to drop. I do like Peyton Pritchard. I'm really glad that we extended him. A lot of excitement in the preseason, but you can just tell on the defensive end. I know no one's trying to get hurt. It's just going to be different. Having Pritchard on the court more. So I think that we're going to take a step back defensively, take a big leap offensively. And my biggest concern, I had one, and now I'm considering just saying Missoula. I cannot stand Joe Mazzulla. I think he is an awful, awful, awful coach. I think if there's any top 15 coach in the league last year on the Celtics, we are in the finals, and we see how everything shakes out. He is, I think, the biggest detriment to our title chances in this window, just like Doc Rivers back in his years. So my biggest concern is Joe Mazzulla. So any thoughts on that, Dad?
Yeah, I'll touch on that. And you're right about one thing. He actually encourages his players to pass up bunny layups for wide open threes in the corner. I don't care what the percentage is. I just don't. Okay? Give me the surefire 2 points. And he is, because even Horford does it. I saw Horford a handful of times last year pass up an easy dunk or a layup because somebody was wide open in the corner. And it's like, terrific if we hit it. But, I mean, half the time you're not going to. Take the easy 2 points. It's stuff like that. I agree with you, Matt. It's the inexperience of him, the immaturity at times.
The lack of timeouts.
Lack of time. Like, what are you doing there? And, he has to change that. Porzingis is a low post threat. Porzingis can't be nothing but an alley-oop guy, like a Rob Williams who can shoot threes.
Yep.
They need to utilize him on the post. And Missoula's going to be open to that. He's going to design plays to get him that. Mm-hmm. You can't just hope that we shoot over 40% from three. That's literally what we based a lot of our wins on in the playoffs last year. Did we shoot over 40%? Yay, we won. Oh, we didn't? We lost. It's almost as simple as that. So
we'll see.
My Celtics win.
Yeah. I'm curious now to hear your three, because I wonder if I just changed your mind on that last one. So yeah, hit us with your win.
Yeah, no, my win total this year is going to be 63. This team is just so much better than the one last year. I mean, a lot of deficiencies still, even though they were a championship worthy roster, I thought there was just, we still had things that held us back. Those things are gone now. And there's going to be so much space on the floor with 4 legit all-stars. And, like I said, I don't think the depth is going to be as big of a concern. I just don't. I think, Pritchard is the new 7th guy. We talk about the top 6, but man, the way he's been in the preseason, and they gave him a 4-year, $30 million contract that made me cringe at first. And now I'm starting to see it. They must see behind the scenes, this kid does nothing but work his butt off. And Brogdon's gone, Smart's gone. He's going to get a legitimate role. We're going to give up some defense, like you said, but, he's going to bring other things to the table. He's scrappy. He's, lights out shooter, and he's sneaky good at driving to the hoop too. So I don't think our depth is going to be that big of an issue. Count on Brad Stevens, best GM we've had in a long time. For a fact, he's going to go get a big man to rotate in with Horford and Porzingis. So I'm actually going high, even though the league is, parity is there. It's not like it used to be with like a couple super teams and the rest of the teams were just bums. There is legit parity in the NBA. So 63 wins is that's borderline 70 wins, like what it would have been 10 years, 20 years ago. So my expectations are super high. My biggest concern is, having 4 all-stars on the team. Tatum cannot worry about an MVP. He just cannot worry about that. It's different when it was him and Brown, right? They could just play off each other. They both get their 30 points. You can't bring in Porzingis and Holiday and expect them to basically do all the sacrificing and get 10 to 15 points a game. This is only going to be effective if they're all around 20 points a game. And if Tatum drops from 30 points a game to 25, he's not going to get MVP considerations. Now, maybe if he averages almost 10 assists a game, which he could if he shoots for that, and his rebounds are double digit, like the Joker, sure, he could get it then. But my concern is, are they all worried about their points? Are they all worried about their average? Because they have to do what Garnett, Pierce, and Allen did back in 8. Just say, I don't care. I'm going to average 5 less points a game for the better of the team and to win a championship. And that's what they need to do. But in the end of it all, spoiler alert, I expect them to win a championship. I mean, the last 3 years, they've had a championship caliber roster, but they weren't the ironclad favorite. This year, they are the ironclad favorite. This team is, I don't know if it's ever been more talented. So, obviously, like we said, disclaimer, injuries aside, I expect the championship this year.
Yeah. And, touch on, the contract for Pritchard when it came out. First thing a lot of people are saying is very tradable, right? So even though it's, for 430, I mean, it's tradable. You can, attach that to other contracts to try and get another player. So really excited about that. My only big concern is Udoka did it. Mazzulla did it. They put Pritchard on the court. Pritchard misses his first 3 and they immediately yank him. I'm really hoping they give the kid a little bit more of a leash, leash this year. I think he's actually older than Tatum. I don't know if you knew that, but Pritchard I think is older than Tatum. Yeah.
I did not.
So I'm really, really hoping they let that kid kind of spread his wings. And I agree. We should be a favorite. And I'm not too worried about Tatum, but I would like what you said. I hope if he does pursue MVP, he pursues it in the columns after the points, right? Rebounds, assists, steals, right?
Yeah.
Blocks, just be a monster. He added all that muscle. So no, I totally agree. The guys have been saying all the right things all preseason about ego and about sacrificing. So let's hope that they really mean it.
Yeah. If he starts getting consideration for Defensive Player of the Year, that will contribute to MVP talk.
Yeah.
And, from what I understand, him and Brown have really been focusing on defense this offseason. So thank goodness, because we know Brown hasn't worked on his handle.
Yeah.
from what we've seen. Still love the guy. I'm so glad he's here. Superman, I don't give a crap. Highest paid player. Yep. Give him all the money. Because I don't forget. The old bull does not forget how hard it is to get superstars in the NBA. So,
yep, 100%.
Still love the guy. Yep.
Alrighty. We're going to go to number 2. And this is where we're going to have a bit of an interactive segment. We're going to rank the teams in the West and East. We'll try and keep it very brief for each of them, not have this segment be too long. But maybe at the end of it, we'll have a good idea of who we think is going to be the top 8 teams in each conference. So here we go. All right. So we have the list of the 15 Western Conference teams. A lot of kind of middle of the pack teams here with, a star or two. My dad mentioned that parity in the last segment. Every single one of these teams, for the most part, is exciting to watch. Even some of them that we're going to put in the should tank column have an exciting player that's worth putting on and watching. So first one, we're going to start with the should tank column or row here. Is I think the Spurs. I think the Spurs should tank this year. I think they should take a page out of the OKC book.
Get them out.
OKC book.
Nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
And I'll jump on the next one. Portland. Get them out.
Yep.
Real easy.
And
I got another one.
Yeah, I got the Jazz. I think the Jazz should tank. Last
Jazz.
Year,
yeah, they overplayed. They played a little over their actual talent, and they're not good at all.
They New York Jets themselves. There's no reason there. Do you have another one after that one?
Oh yeah, the Houston Rockets. Get them out of here.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, they got a lot of young talent. Team. But
yeah. And then we got kind of a fun category. I like this. It's there, these are teams who've been tanking forever, and there's a chance that they could take a big step. Yeah, so they could surprise and possibly knock off a top seed in the playoffs, so it's kind of a fun little thing that, hey, maybe it's their time or it's getting damn close to it. So we're going to see if there's any teams for that category.
My dad and I were talking about this before the podcast, and he said he wanted to do this row, and I immediately was like, which conference? And he said Western Conference. I said, is it? And we both said OKC. So OKC, really fun team. SGA, Giddey, Chet's coming back this year after that phantom foot injury he had last year. They have a couple of guys named Jalen Williams. They have Lou Dort, who's like 21 years old or something crazy like that. I think OKC could surprise somebody if that team proves that they have guts and a playoff clutch gene. I think they could really, really hurt some teams. Right, Dad? That was yours.
Yeah, they're a couple of years away from being an NBA contributor. But man, if they can keep all those lottery picks that have panned out, they're going to be a dynasty someday. Yep. I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, the question is, could they keep them? So yeah, I think they could squeak in the playoffs and surprise somebody. Yeah, they're going to be sneaky good. Absolutely. But so my other team that I have, I'm going to throw in this column is the New Orleans Pelicans. Last year I was really high. I know. I mean, doesn't one of these years Zion have to play? Doesn't he have to eventually? I mean, him and Ingram, nope. And then they got CJ Collum, great shooter, and they got other pieces there. McCollum, whatever his name.
They have Valanciunas. They have Valanciunas there too.
Valanciunas. So I mean, hey, again, it all depends on pork chop. Right. I don't know if he lost some weight this offseason and take a little pressure off his knees or what, but man, if that kid can stay healthy, if Zion can stay healthy with the rest of that crew, they can take a jump.
I'll tell you this, that is not endorsed by the young calf. That's a love affair. I should have had a love affair row because for some reason my dad is enamored with that team. So I guess we'll move on to playoff fluff, huh? Yeah?
Let's do it.
All right. So I think Wolves, playoff fluff.
Absolutely. Sure. That's my first team I think of. Yep.
I think Grizzlies. Oh. Go ahead. Sorry.
Grizzlies. Yeah.
They're not going to have Ja for the first 25. They're going to probably.
They're a tough out, but they're not favored. They're not going to make the finals. Get that out of here.
Yeah. After that, I think the Kings, similar situation. I just don't think they have that kind of get them over the finish line playoff fluff.
Okay. All right, so put them there. I could agree with that. The Mavericks, get them out of here. Kyrie Irving and Luka in the backcourt. Oh, yeah, you're going to score some points. Who are you stopping?
Nobody.
You're stopping nobody. Okay, get that crap out of here. And yeah, and I don't know, Matt. I don't know where you put them. I'm putting the Lakers there too.
Lakers.
Just the
Wow.
Lakers.
It's
I
so
know
hard to bet against
another
LeBron, but
another year older. I mean, they got to count on Anthony Davis staying healthy again, like last year. I know they got some decent pickups, but I I don't know. I think they gave it everything they got last year, and they still couldn't even make the
yeah,
they still
you're
couldn't make
right.
it to conference
Father
finals. So
Time is undefeated, so we'll see about LeBron. All right, this team right here, I think it's gonna be up to injuries. The Clippers. Um, if they have Paul George and Kawhi out there, I think they're a contender. They have a lot of depth as well. Do you agree with them being a contender?
yeah, again, they're another team like my Zion. I mean, at some point, don't they have to stay healthy?
Yeah, we'll
You
see.
know, so those two stay healthy. I think they're probably going to end up getting Brogdon somehow or something like that. They're going to add a piece. I know they've been active trying to get. They tried to get Holiday, from what I
Yeah,
understand. They just failed. So they're going to add someone to those two, and they'll put it together
I think
as
the
long as they stay
Warriors.
healthy.
Yeah, yep. I think the Warriors
Yeah,
are another contender. Do you agree?
yeah. People are writing that. No, they're still dangerous. They're still super dangerous. They're not my pick to come out of the West, but they're still dangerous.
Yep. And after that, I think the spoiler, right? Because whoever we don't pick is going to be our favorite. I think the
Right.
Suns are another contender. It's similar to the Luka, Kyrie. Uh, they have no defense. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't even tell you who their best defender is. Probably Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, I think, is underrated defender. After him, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, uh, the ghost of Nurkic. I mean, I think this
Yeah.
goes here. Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon's like 100. So he's gonna be
I
guarding the
know.
perimeter. No, he's sitting in the corner. So yeah.
Yeah,
And
I hate to be boring. I'd love to go against you, but I have the same concerns about the Suns. They're gonna light people up where they're on fire, but I mean they're just gonna be, their game's gonna be 130 to 140. There's
yeah,
just no defense on that team. So, I mean, hey, the Denver Nuggets, man, you got to give them props. I don't think they were even challenged last year, like at any point. They're
yeah.
bringing the same team back, basically. I don't know if did they lose anyone. I don't think they
They
really
lost
lost
Bruce
anyone
Brown,
significant.
and they lost another guy, Thomas Bryant, to the
That's
Heat.
okay. Bruce Brown's a loss. So, I mean, hey, they're the champs. You got to give it to them. And,
Yep.
I think Golden State's probably their biggest threat. I mean, I don't know. Chris Paul, the dude's a natural loser. But maybe, I don't know, maybe being around those other winners, it rubs off on him and he puts it together. But otherwise, I think, yeah, it's going to be a Celtics Denver finals.
Heck yeah. All right, so we're gonna move into the East. I think we should just start off with the young team surprise here.
Okay.
And I think my pick for this in the East is the Orlando Magic.
Me too.
I think Wagner,
Yep.
the second coming of Markel Fultz, kind of showing up. I'm blanking on their really good guy they got from Duke. What's his name?
Is it Suggs?
Oh
Something
no,
like that.
Suggs is really good too. No,
Yeah.
the really good
Yeah.
guy.
I forgot. No, I know who you're talking about, but I mean, they gave Celtics fits last year. I mean,
Yeah,
that's my young team. Again, years of just accumulating high lottery picks.
Paulo
And
Banchero.
eventually,
Yep.
yep, this could be the year. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, and
Do you have anyone else?
from the young team, not on the Magic level. Do you have a love affair you want to share with me that you want to throw in here?
I don't. I mean, I'm a little bit on Detroit, a little bit,
Oh
but
yeah,
I don't know if
Detroit.
I'm ready to put him in there. I mean, Detroit might.
Ivy. They have that Ivy kid, Cunningham.
Yeah,
No,
throw
they're
him
an
in there.
exciting young team. But to be
They
honest, they
are.
should probably
No.
tank. I think they're still missing a piece.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Probably.
nobody. And just FYI, if there was like a tier list for these surprising young teams, OKC's way above all these guys. But these, I think,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. So the should tanks. I'll start it off and go back and forth here.
Yeah.
I think the Pacers should tank.
Yep. I
Yeah.
am with you.
You want to do one?
Yeah, I think the Brooklyn Nets.
Brooklyn Nets should tank. Yeah, get somebody else next to Mikal Bridges. I think Mikal Bridges
Yeah.
is a problem. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
I'll go. The Hornets should tank. I don't even
Yep.
know
That's
who
that's
they
who my
freaking
pick
have
was. Next
anymore.
pick was going to be Washington. Get them
Oh
out of
gosh.
here.
Jordan Poole in the
Terrible.
East. I'm shaking in my boots. Jordan Poole. It's
Yeah.
going to be a problem.
Yeah.
After that, I think.
I mean, maybe the Bulls. I was
Yeah,
wondering if Ball was going to come back. They have potential. They have three really good players, but I don't know.
DeRozan's old. Valanciunas is old.
They are older, but they're still
Levine.
good. And then Levine's pretty good. He's sporadic though, but
Yeah,
yeah, they probably should tank. But they're going to contend for a playoff spot. But anyway,
yeah,
let's move on.
yeah. And
Yeah.
after that, I think I'm tough on this one. I'll let you decide. The Raptors. I mean, who do they got?
Raptors
OG.
are they're playoff fluff.
Yeah, playoff
They'll
fluff.
make the
Yep,
playoffs.
that's
They
true.
got Barnes. They'll be good.
That's true.
Possibly win around. They're not going any further than that. No shot. Playoff fluff are teams that have no shot of winning the championship.
I think the Knicks.
They can give you a hard time. They can surprise a team in a series. They're not no shot. Put the
Yep.
Knicks in there as well.
After
Absolutely.
that,
Hawks.
Hawks
Get
for
those
sure.
Hawks in there. Heat. They didn't improve. They're another year older with Butler and God, who's the bum they got from Toronto years ago? I'm just drawing a blank. The point guard who stinks.
Oh,
now.
Lowry. Oh, Jeep.
Lowry. Get them. I don't think they're going to contend. I don't think they're a threat this year. I just don't. They didn't improve at all,
Yeah.
and they get a year older. And and then I think that all the rest of them are in the next tier.
Except, I think Cleveland is tough, right?
Yeah. Yep. What's his name? Garland. Garland is going to be a year
Mitchell,
older. That dude's a
Mobley.
player.
They got that Mobley kid as well.
Yep, he's good.
And then, of course,
Absolutely.
Mr. MVP last year, fraud MVP. It should have went to Jokic. Embiid has no guts at all. He dodges Jokic. Embiid is a joke, but he is a contender.
Yeah.
And then the Bucks, contender. Of course, Damian Lillard, but King of the Castle.
We've already gave you our pick.
King of the Castle. King of the Castle.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh la la. Oh, whoa. King in the castle, king in the castle. Have a chair, I have a chair.
Boston Celtics. I have a chair. La la la. Boston Celtics up at the top. My dad shared this, and no secret, we are so freaking high on these Celtics. We are excited for the Celtics, and this is how I think we see the East shaking out. Oh, and actually, those are the 8 teams. We have 8 teams in the playoff fluff and up. So we'll see if we're right there. Any more comments on the East, Dad?
No, we did that by accident. Makes
There you
sense
go.
that it happened. No, that's it. We're good to go.
Yes. All right. So next up, number 3, Bruins talk. Bruins are 2-0. They had 2 pretty easy games. They beat the Blackhawks with a really bad defense. They beat the Predators. Now they're going on this road trip, and so far so good, right? I think one of the things I was hoping for was them giving young talent opportunity. And my dad has some breaking news on some of the young talent and what's been coming out of their practices ahead of this long road trip. Dad, what are we going to see in the lines and everything?
So the kid that everyone's excited about, the Patra kid, they're actually promoting him up to the top 6. Thank you for doing that. It's just, out with the old, in with the new. They got to get Lysol up here at some point. Hopefully he lights it up in Providence and they give that kid a chance. Get guys like Geeky out of here. But Patra, we're going to start seeing him with some actual real wingers. Hopefully, they keep it with Marchand. Maybe put DeBrusque on the other. I don't know. But, we're going to get a chance to see what that kid has. And, I did some thinking. I'm like, am I too down on the Bruins, right? So they were just so loaded at the end of the year last year because Don Sweeney, I loved his trade deadline. I'm not a Don Sweeney fan, but man, I loved that man. He went all out. He gave away the cupboard and everything to build a Stanley Cup contender. And I think the players ultimately failed him. I think Don Sweeney did his job. But the Bruins were an absolute beast before they made those additions. And I went back and I thought, who did they lose? They lost Bergeron, which is a big one. But if this Patra kid can give him 75% of what Bergeron did, and think about it. Krejci was really good the first 25, 30 games, and then he was awful. He was just a shell of himself. So, okay, he's gone. No big loss there. And really the only other kind of big loss we have was Taylor Hall.
Yep.
I like Taylor Hall. I liked him, but 20-goal guy, 20-goal season guy, so are we that far off? If Patra can be like a young Bergeron and give us some there, and we're basically bringing back the same team that was on historic run before we even brought in, Bertuzzi and Olov and, what was the other big
Hathaway.
Yep. Hathaway. So, we were already in really good shape. So I'm maybe I'm a little down on the Bruins than I should be. So I'm actually, I've had to change my outlook on them. So I'm going to monitor them a little further and, I mean, you get knocked out in the first round. I mean, you can't do it. I mean, this team gets knocked out in the first round. The same failure. So we'll see. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, and that's a really good perspective. That kind of gives me a bit too much hope. I was gonna make fun of you. Two wins against kind of middling to crappy teams, and my dad's already like, maybe I looked at you wrong, but no, that's a really good perspective. We didn't really lose much from the team we were last year, and the team we were last year, prior to the trade deadline, was a first in our division, I think, at least. And my buddy, so this is an interesting thought. My buddy Andrew, huge Celtics fan. We're going to the Celtics next Thursday. I mean, I'm sorry, huge Bruins fan. We're going to the Bruins next Thursday together for his 30th birthday. Happy birthday, Andrew! But he talked about the goalie rotation, right? And I'm curious what your thoughts are, because he said historically having your goalies rotate in the playoffs was really common up until I don't know how many years. But he mentioned that if we make the playoffs, he would love to see a rotation, like 2 games, 2 games, 2 games, 2 games for goalies. What do you think about that? And is that something you recall, rotating goalies?
No, that's never been done in the history of time. No, he's completely wrong there.
Wow. Okay.
The Bruins were in a situation where it was considered last year. They said maybe they should stick with the rotation. That's what worked in the regular season. And they went away with it. They went away from it. They just went with strictly Allmark, and they didn't take Allmark out until, he completely started crapping his pants.
He's injured.
So maybe your friend's right that they should try it. I mean, it worked for him all year long. Personally, I want one of them gone. If you can get a good top 6 forward, a young, good top 6 forward for one of those goalies, hit Edmonton up, all that young talent, see what you can get. That's what I want. I just, stick with one of them, but I mean, if you have them both, be unconventional and maybe switch them, because it didn't work last year going with just Allmark. No, Matt, it's not that there hasn't been goalie switches, not that he's completely wrong, but it's always a goalie just struggles for 2 games in a row. It's never a set rotation. That just hasn't been done.
Yeah. All right, Andrew, you're wrong. My dad is very old and he's seen a lot of hockey games. You're wrong, Andrew. So I gotta correct him on that. I'll correct him on that, and then I'll send him this timestamp. So we're big on the Bruins. Big road trip coming up. Every team on this road trip we should beat. So hopefully we come out of this with at least a point a game at a minimum. Hopefully we win out, and then as we get to the tougher part of the schedule, it doesn't feel so bad when we do start to lose, because it will happen. All right, those are our Bruins thoughts. So I guess we'll move on to number 4. Okay. Those are our Bruins thoughts. So we're going to move on to number 4. So those are our bets. And we have a lot of them. So our Wilgs Basement Bets is going to hit us with a video. So we got that queued up. Take us away, Anthony.
Hey everyone, WilgsBasementBets here to give you your top picks, top plays to make some money this week. Lock of the week, Browns -2.5 at Colts. Going to Indy, Colts are banged up, no Anthony Richardson. I like the Browns in this spot. They have a great defense coming off a big win for them, so I really like them in this spot. Next one, I like a lot this week. A lot of underdogs on the road. Just seemed like some weird lines going on. So Falcons +3 at the Bucks. Falcons with a great run game. They got Bijan and Algier. I think they're really going to beat up that Bucks defense. Bucks don't have the greatest run defense. So I think Falcons really control this game, control the clock, and actually win outright. But you can get them at +3. Next one, Bears +3 at the Raiders. This line makes no sense. Raiders should be -7. Bears +3. I'm taking the Bears. It's a gross game, but I'm taking the Bears. Next one, Lions +3 at the Ravens. Ravens coming back from London. Lions have been one of the top performing teams this year. I see them to win also. You're getting them +3. You're getting some value there. I like them in that spot. And then the last one, Cardinals +8.5 at the Seahawks. The Seahawks should never be more than 3-point favorites against any team in the NFL. Cardinals have been playing every single team very tight. They're getting 8.5 points. Absolutely love that spot. So those are all the plays this week. Again, the lock of the week, Browns -2.5 at the Colts. Hopefully we can make some money this week, and I'll see you guys all next time.
So I think Anthony said it best there. I know I always fumble over who's at who's getting this. So thanks, Anthony, for enlightening us and saying everything correctly, because I'm sure I would have screwed it up, especially since you have 6 games.
Six games. I tell you what, I'm gonna empty the credit cards. I'm gonna sell everything I had. I'm gonna put it all on these 6 games. And if they don't all win, Anthony, I'm going to wait for you to fall asleep. I'm going to punch you square in the face. You curly-headed.
I'm going to have to. Whoop.
I'm a curly-headed. Yeah. You better not go to sleep. As soon as your eyes shut, I'm going to punch you square in the face.
Now everyone will know, because my dad will be in a nicer Florida apartment, maybe living next to Tom Brady in the next podcast, if that goes all as well. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how much you can liquidate. Like, if you liquidate a savings account with $0, you really, you really don't get too much out of that.
Listen, I could probably, if I win, I could probably go for a fancy dinner at the best restaurant.
There you go.
In this side of Florida. So.
There you go. So yeah, we'll move on. Thanks, Anthony. As always, the lock of the week, the Browns. I do like the Browns defense against the Colts. So put some money on it. Hope somebody wins some money off this podcast and Anthony's suggestions. So we'll move on to number 5. Number 5 is 90-50-10. And I think I figured out my dad and I's problem. We were doing 90-50-10s on the wrong sport. Everybody, that's it. So now that we're doing 90-50-10s on basketball, it's going to be 100% hit rate. And these are going to be 90-50-10s for the Boston Celtics season. So my 90 for the Boston Celtics is that no one is going to average more than 26 points. Last year, Tatum had over 30. Porzingis had 23. Brown had somewhere around 26. So I think this year, kind of lending credit to what my dad said about people sacrificing and being, not selfish. I think no one is going to have more than 26 points per game. That's my 90.
So I want to be positive, but my 90% is actually not. I assure you 50% and my 10% are positive. My 90%, sorry, but from what I saw last year, I think there's a 90% chance that Horford is so cashed by the end of the year, it's almost uncomfortable whether they should play him or bench him in the playoffs. I mean, I'm hoping they can remedy that by bringing in a big to get his minutes. But if Horford isn't around 20 minutes a game, if he has to go over 20 minutes a game, I mean, last year he was, I think, at around 25, 26. And man, by the end of it, I mean, I don't know if you remember how bad he was, but he was pretty rough, especially three-point shooter. He was out. He's another year older. I know he keeps himself in great shape, but I'm really hoping Brad Stevens can prove me wrong here and go get a legit big to get his minutes somewhere around 20 a game. And, and so he has a little bit of gas left in the tank come playoff time.
Yeah,
I hope it doesn't get uncomfortable. We'll see.
Last season, he was 30 minutes a game.
Was he 30?
30 minutes. And in the playoffs, he was 30th.
Too much.
Yeah.
Way too much. Yeah.
So, yeah, and that's a 37-year-old Al Horford. So that's a scary 90, Dad. I came in up here, and you just bringing it down. All right. So I hope your 50 is good. So my 50 is that the Celtics are going to finish with the first seed in the East. Mazzulla has come out and said that he's, kind of learned a lesson last year about pushing for the first seed and when it comes to rest. So they might not be going too hard for it. Some teams might catch them by surprise because there's a lot of young, fast teams in the league. So my 50% chance is we're going to get first in the East.
All right. My 50% chance is we are going to have 3 or 4 All-Stars. And I know they all have already made the All-Star team. They're all, still capable, but that is hard to do. Really hard to do. There's only, I believe, 13 All-Star spots. But I think they're going to be so good that they're going to have at least 3 All-Stars. And that's a coin flip. That's, that's easy. Oh, well, yeah, they've all made the All-Star team, Steve. That's not a hot take. No, having 3 on one team, that is hard to do. So I think you're going to have 3, possibly even 4. We'll have to see.
Well, you stole my thunder. So my 10% is that we're going to get 4 All-Stars.
Okay.
I think voter fatigue is going to be really tough. I think, like you said, a lot of guys are going to have to sacrifice. And I think the problem with the 4 is Giroux and Derek White. If Derek White wasn't here, I think it'd be a higher chance at the 4 All-Stars. But I think he's going to take some shine away from Drew. And I think the league is kind of coming to the fact that Derek White is a real NBA talent. JJ Redick.
Not according to ESPN.
Well, JJ Redick just came out and ripped it. He
left him out the top 100.
Yeah, JJ Redick is ESPN's guy, and he came out and just said you guys are absolutely clueless. I think he ranked him like 45 in his.
Oh wow, that's a little high. That's a little too high.
The Ringer just came out as well, and I forget where Derek White landed in that. I think he was somewhere in the 50s. So yeah, no, I think 10% is 4 All-Stars. I almost said 4 All-Stars with 3 starters, but it's going to be really hard for Porzingis.
I didn't even think about starters. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard for Porzingis to beat out Giannis and Embiid for a starting spot. But yeah, that's my 10. What is your 10?
My 10% is this is all, preferenced on them getting off to a super fast start. I think there's a 10% chance they beat the Warriors record of wins for the total season. Yeah. Wow. I mean, if they come out of the gate flying and get off to like a 12-1 start, you're going to start hearing that chatter. Could they challenge that record? Could they do? And they're that talented. I mean, they stay healthy. They are that talented that could happen. So, but if there's some growing pains because there's a little bit of lack of chemistry between Porzingis and Holiday, with Tatum and Brown, they could come if they start off like 8-4, they're not going to hit that record. But they come out of the gate flying, start off like 12-1.
Don't do this to me. Don't. I'm literally 6 months removed from the Bruins doing the exact same freaking thing. I don't want to.
Oh, that's right.
I don't want this. Don't do this to me. I can't. And the thing is my circle would make fun of me a lot more if the Celtics did it. I've survived, emotionally what the Bruins did because nobody I know cares about the Bruins. But if the Celtics do it, oh my gosh, I'm gonna hear it. I have too many friends that care about the Celtics.
Yeah.
Please, Celtics, don't chase that record and then choke and poop your pants because I
And
don't.
the worst part is the Golden State Warriors. They didn't win the championship that year.
No, they lost to that was like the 3-1 or whatever to the.
Yeah,
LeBron,
they were
right?
3-1 against LeBron. Yeah.
No.
And then Draymond Green was an idiot, got suspended. That was when he was a big part of the team.
Yeah.
And got him back in the series. And young LeBron took over.
There's only one thing they should be chasing this year, and that's the freaking
championship.
The
I know. I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with you. But Matt, can you see it? If they get off to like a 12-1 start,
nope, can't see it.
Could you not see it?
Don't see it. I don't want to see it. I mean, everyone's got their big contracts. Nobody's going to be pushing. They all got their super maxes or whatever. There's nobody here who's going to benefit from all NBA. Survive the season, get to the playoffs with the starting five, and let's see how it goes from there. So that's our 90-50-10, and that's the podcast. Going to be a lot of editing in this one. I hope everybody liked it. I'm really excited that we were able to start incorporating some, Boston Celtics. And now we all just got to cross our fingers that the Patriots get absolutely obliterated by the Bills this weekend. Any closing thoughts, Dad?
Nope. Go any team that's playing against the Patriots. Let's get that top pick. Yeah. Let's get the old man out of here. Let's start over. And I mean, we will do some segments at some point. If they look like that top 2 pick is possible. I guess there's 2 stud quarterbacks coming out, so we will touch on that in the future. But right now, we're putting Patriots in a timeout and focusing on the Celtics and Bruins for a little bit.
Yes. So I hope everybody enjoyed it. I hope you have a good night. Watch the Celtics, everybody. Watch Celtics next Wednesday or Thursday is their first game. Don't sleep on them. If you're, tune in. So yeah,
they're gonna be a fun team.
Yeah. Hope everybody has a good night.
Bye, everyone.